Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is gonna be so fun. And it's gonna be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it gonna feel like? You know, it was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. You know, my thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to V8's Online's live broadcast of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship. We're coming to you live from round 3 of the series at Barber Motorsports Park using a special race format that carries over into the next round. Hello to all of our viewers on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and iRacing Live. We hope you will enjoy the night of racing set to come in the next hour or so. I'm Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Jay, it's time to go Carrera Cup racing again.
Yeah, I love this series. It's great fun. Thank you for jumping in with me, Reece, and hello to all our viewers. Really interesting format tonight. Basically, tonight not only sets up your series for tonight, but also the next round in 2 weeks' time, or 3 weeks' time, I should say, at Oran Park. So, big implications for making sure you have a great finish tonight, not only for the points, but also for a couple of weeks' time. Should be great.
Yeah, definitely. We're in qualifying at the moment, about 6.5 minutes into a 30-minute session. Basically, this qualifying session is the first stage in what this special format is going to be. Race 1 tonight is going to be 20 minutes long. Cautions on lap 1 only. The grid has been set by qualifying, and we've got full points for this race. Race 2, the grid is set by race 1 finish. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, Jay, because when we come to round 4, at Oran Park in a few weeks' time, any people that DNF'd in race 2 in split 1 of the series is going to get moved down to split 2. So you don't want to crash out of this round at Barber. Definitely don't. However, the people who finish in the top positions in race 2 in split 2 tonight will be able to make an appearance in split 1 at Oran Park. So this you got to really play the long game for this one.
Yeah, it's a really interesting format, and something that I think is really, really cool for the addition to this series is that you actually have to think about your series as a whole, as opposed to just turning up and racing each round. So Muggleton leading the championship, this could potentially sway the championship if he ends up with a bad performance at DNF tonight. Could really swing the way the championship will fall. So even though he's won, I'm fairly sure he's won both races so far,
Yeah.
thinking from memory, it could change in an instant depending on what happens in this race tonight.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, race 1 won't matter as much as race 2, but still, if you DNF in race 1 and you end up starting at the back for race 2, you got a bit of a fight on your hands. But qualifying is underway, and Josh Muggleton's making a very good case for himself once again, about 4/10 ahead of Justin Rougier in second place around this fantastic circuit at Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, one of my favourite tracks. Is just so devastating. We don't see it raced in a lot of series all that often, but anytime we do, we love the racing that happens here. So thrilled that we're here in this fantastic Porsche Carrera Cup car. Wish we'd get the V8 Supercar back here for Scops every now and again, but doesn't seem to be as popular. But anyway, but yeah, Muggleton really, really quick, and Justin Rougier P2 at the moment. A big gap though between Muggleton and Rougier, but the rest of the field is fairly squished up with 2 seconds separating the top 13.
Yeah, certainly very close around this circuit, and it's a very interesting circuit. Is Barber? It's quite recent. It was only opened in 2003, so it's a pretty modern circuit. But it has a layout that you don't usually expect from a modern circuit. It's very tight and compact. It's very twisty, and basically elevation changes in every single corner just about. And wheeling a Porsche around here as Justin Rougier rotates in turn 1 and finds himself facing the wrong way. Well, we'll probably see plenty of that around some turns on this track.
Yeah, you can see from the onboard here with Darren Marsh, who's currently P5 for TTL. The undulation of this track, the off-camber corners, the bizarre braking zones. This track really has everything, and I absolutely love it. It's got such a real challenge to it. And we'll see some really entertaining racing tonight, especially through this section here as Marsh completely cuts that section. And that will be that done for him.
They say you cut the course.
Have to slow down.
Wow. Yeah, that's one of my favorite braking zones of all time, actually, because you're braking hard for that medium speed right-hander, but instead of lifting off and accelerating, you got to continue braking while you're turning and make sure that you line up the apex for the tiny little flick left before you go into that sort of really tight right-hander that's not quite a hairpin but not quite a sweeper either. Very unusual corner designs here.
Now, I think that's what makes this track so unique. Not only that, too, the bizarre land objects around the track, including the really strange spider in the middle of the circuit. I don't know what the go is with that. And there's some really weird Coca-Cola signs all around the track. Just something really bizarre and amazing about this circuit that really throws up a real curveball when you go and have a look around. It's something really unique, and it feels very, very old school in its layout, but it's clearly not that old school.
Yeah, if you're an arachnophobe, you might not want to visit the circuit.
For
But
sure.
strangest of all, the state that this circuit is in, Alabama. Same place as Talladega. So, yeah, it's certainly not the circuit that you'd expect in that part of the country, NASCAR country.
Which I think's amazing that it's so unique in its location. Mobile, Alabama, I'm pretty sure.
Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham, Alabama, that's correct. I'm always wrong at these things, you should know that. Interesting too, the wind today while these guys are out on track, very, very strong. So it's starting to catch a few guys out in their braking zones. We've seen quite a few mistakes here in qualifying. Very, very strong wind at the moment.
Oh yeah, a southern wind at 23 kilometers an hour. The track's pretty hot as well, 39 degrees. So yeah, it's quite interesting conditions that the drivers are facing today.
So we've got Forzan El Nabi on flying lap at the moment. Current best is a 24.7.
I love those big apex curbs. You can just put the car on entirely. It's fantastic.
In this section
Very
here,
narrow entry.
that section there is really bizarre because you've got 3 or 4 lines that you can take into that second last corner. None of them are wrong, but quite often none of them are right as well. So he comes up across the line.
33.5. That is unfortunately not quicker. Whoa,
I think it may
hello.
be an out lap as he's run off the track at turn 1, and that'll be him done for this little run.
But a lot of drivers will be ruining the fact that there isn't an exit curb for turn 1.
Josh Muggleton on screen. Currently P1 with the 23.5. There's only 2 drivers in the 23s.
Yeah, definitely. I love this turn 2 that he's just exiting at the moment. Double apex, and it just seems to go on forever. Then you got that little kink over the crest of the hill that sends the car light. If you've got it badly set up, you'll be right round at the top of that hill. This left-hander has 3 apexes. It's incredible. In quick succession, a very tight turn. The track is super wide in this section. I think you could probably fit 5 cars across. Let's see how Muggleton takes this section. Ooh.
Oh, big lock
Flirting
up.
with the off tracks there. But I love that you just slam on the throttle and out you go while turning. Fantastic stuff. And this fast chicane, I love it. Got to be careful of that curb on the exit though. The exit curbs in this section of the circuit are extremely narrow compared to these apex curbs. Look, Muggleton can almost fit his whole car onto that apex curb, but the exit curb, it's barely wide enough for one tyre. Making a middle of the road entry with the second last turn.
Looks like that middle line is definitely the one the guys have been taking looking through this qualifying session, but not a bad exit, just onto the grass at the exit of the final corner across the line, and just improves with another 23.5, goes about 200ths quicker that time around.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Josh Muggleton once again. Like, he's been the man to beat in this series, pretty much since the start of the season. Apart from Jared Filsell giving him a hard time at Lime Rock, Phillip Island. What am I saying?
Close.
I think I'm having nightmares about when IMSA goes to Lime Rock Park towards the end of the season.
I think you're having Le Mans-itis, aren't you?
Premonitions, yes, perhaps.
Where we all go a bit cray-cray from staying up all night watching Le Mans.
Yeah,
You've got
well,
Darren Marsh on screen, as you just see Greg Stewart move up the timesheet. He's up to P5.
Yep, very good there. Greg Stewart for Team TTL.
Not overly aggressive from Marsh through the S's and down the hill. It's really easy to lock a brake coming down that hill too. Something that will really catch the guys out. And you really want to be aggressive through that S there. But you can't be too aggressive because you'll either run wide or cut too much and you'll get penalised either way.
Yeah,
This section here you can cut really aggressively.
Yeah, have a look what happened to the guy in front of Darren there.
That's the fence.
That's what happens when you get your entry wrong for that section. You just spear straight off into the wall. This last turn, I find it incredibly frustrating. It's so hard to line up and just get the throttle right for that, because it seems like the camber sort of changes in the middle of the exit. It's got a bit of a crown. As Darren Marsh goes to 24.605.
Improves one spot.
Yep. Only 3,000ths ahead of his teammate.
There's nothing in that. But Justin Rougier, no, he's on an out lap, so we won't worry about him. Muggleton's also on an out lap. Joe Boving's on a lap though.
Yeah. Joe Boving going through the final section, just feathering the brake pedal. Get the car turned in, get that weight on the fronts. So you get the car turned in and then slam on the throttle over that little crown in the exit of the road. What's the time going to be here? 25.1, so that's not an improvement from Boving. Oh, just catching the grass.
So Boving stays in 7th position. Looks like he's continuing on for a second lap though.
Hard on the brakes for the hairpin. Doesn't look like any lockups from him so far. Very clean lap. Oh yeah. Look at how hard he's pushing on the exit. Brilliant stuff. Now you brake nice and early. Hit the curb. Make sure you line up for that second curb. Don't take that third curb too much. Otherwise you'll completely unsettle the car. Out he goes. Let's see how aggressive he is through the fast chicane. Oh, entering it flat out and then just braking for the right-hander. Gently does it through this section. Oh, he might have compromised his exit a little bit. Had to do a bit of maintenance brake on the exit of that little section. Looks like he's relatively happy with this lap though. Oh no, running wide in the last turn. Nah, I think that's yeah.
Yeah, that's done.
He's realised that. If you run even the slightest bit wide in that last turn, any time that you built up over that lap is just instantly taken away.
Ben Dowell on screen. I'm not quite sure if he's on a flying lap or not.
Looks like he's taking it pretty easy. Probably gearing up to start one.
Yeah, possibly.
Yep,
You guys look like they're actually on out laps at the moment. Actually, Bo Albert looks like he's on a lap, so we might go with him.
Oh, yep. Bo Albert for Evolution Racing Team. I noticed that he did some commentary with you on IMSA on Thursday, Jay.
Yeah, he was very, very good too, so he'll be back. Welcome anytime. So he's going to join me for the rest of the IMSA series at this stage.
Awesome.
Should be great. He was very nervous to start with, but after the nerves settled, he was right. As you know, Reece, you get a little bit nervous sometimes, especially when you first start out.
Oh, yeah, of course. I remember when I first started out, I didn't even want to go anywhere near the commentary box. I just wanted to do my pit reports and be done with it. Oh, as Bo Albert runs wide out of the last turn.
It's unlucky. That would have been an 8 as well. 24.8, that would have improved him probably 4 spots.
Yeah, would have gotten him into the top 10.
That's very unlucky for him. Go back to Forzan El Nabi. No, Forzan's just slowed down. Jason Hyde is on about to start a lap. We might actually ride on board with him so he can actually view this amazing circuit.
Yeah, gyro cam would probably be a good decision, just so you can appreciate the cambers in the road.
With the view over the shoulder so you can see it all. We'll go quiet and we'll enjoy a lap at Barber. Nice and clean lap here.
Yeah, textbook stuff there from Jason Hyde. He crosses the line for a 24.662. That puts him up to 7th
Great lap.
place. Yeah, very nice lap from Jason Hyde, and yeah, looked like he barely put a foot wrong that whole lap. Beautiful lines.
Good lap to jump on board, especially when you say, "Oh, lucky we jumped out of the car then."
Yeah.
We've got Forzen El Navi on screen now. So he's now right on the fridge of the top 10.
Yep, he's only got a few hundredths to Jay Boving ahead of him in the standings. So any improvement he can make on this lap, or the lap he's about to start if he's on an out lap, will pay dividends. But as we often see in these series with the standard of drivers we're seeing in Carrera Cup and in V8 Scops and other series like that, even gaining a 10th in a field like this can be insanely hard. But if you can do it, jump up a lot of spots.
Yeah, there's not much in it where you see Forzen's time. So if he gains a 10th, he jumps, what's that, 4 spots. We see someone a little bit further back, like Warwick Brown in P14. If he, a 10th will get him, or sorry, 2 tenths will get him 8 spots, or 7 spots.
I just saw Scott Larnack.
Yeah, just popped into the top 15.
Yeah, with a 24.909.
Got Bo Albert about to start another flying lap. Just past some traffic at the exit of the second last corner to get a bit of a clear run.
Yeah, nice clean line through turn 1. Runs a bit wide in turn 2, but you can recover that. Get a straighter exit. Oh, so close. Lines up that curb well, though.
Should get a little bit of draft down this back straight here too, which will help him a little. Only 6 minutes left in this session.
Nice late apex there from Bo, and the hairpin allowed him to straight line the exit. Oh, a little unsettled over the crest and over the curb.
Looks like he might have got away with it though.
You can get away with a mistake through that section. You don't have to be absolutely inch perfect. Braking nice and early over the curb. And all of that curb to turn the car. Over the rise, then through another dip. It feels so good to go through that section on a flying lap. The steering wheel just weighs up and feel like you can do almost anything. Bo lines up the exit beautifully there. Let's see how well he does on this lap. A little bit of a draft at the end.
This might be a good improvement, I think.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a 906, so he moves ahead of his teammate Larnack by 3 thousandths.
Seen that a couple of times with teammates tonight. We saw Darren Marsh and Greg Stewart very, very close earlier, as Marsh now, I've just noticed on the timesheet, he's moved up to 4th ahead of Ben Dowell. He and Greg Stewart were battling pretty close.
Yeah.
Jason Hyde getting ahead of his teammate Forzen El Nabi. And now Albert and Larnack.
Yeah, definitely. So Albert's just going to come out of the pits just behind Jared Tyerman. They're going to go out and have basically one last shot at getting a good time down.
Got Thomas Hinds on screen at the moment. Currently P16 is the first car out of that top 15 bracket and the first driver in the 125s with the 125-2. A little bit of improvement will be a big gain for him here.
Yeah, only a few tenths separating him from a spot in the top 15, so it looks like he may or may not have a tiny bit of traffic ahead of him. That's Mark Dean there. He's going slowly. He's letting Thomas by. Nice vaulting over the curb there from Hinds.
Yeah, sometimes jumping those curves you get a bit of wheel spin coming out, but it was nice and planted as he landed. Very, very early apex there in through this section. May have compromised his run into the final corner.
Yeah, he's gotten it down well out on the exit though. Let's have a look at the time.
5-0, I think.
25.0.
So an improvement, not quite enough to get into the top 15 as he runs off the track.
Well, he's got time for 1 or 2 more runs at the moment, so he will stop and escape back to the garage. Who haven't we focused on?
Yeah,
Looks
I was
like
just-
Warren Pickering's going
Yeah,
pretty
Warwick
well.
Pickering's. We've got Mark Dean on screen actually. He's on a flying lap,
Oh, yeah.
running as a privateer. Our former teammate Reese, back in the old
Yes, indeed.
XSG and Dynamic Sim Sports days.
Yeah. Those were interesting times indeed.
Interesting is a very, very appropriate word. Entertaining, probably another.
Yes. Good times, but crazy to think how things have changed in all that time. It's only been a few years, but we've all moved teams. I sort of half started a new one.
I don't even plug in a wheel. Amazing.
But we're still broadcasting.
We're still going, V8s and lines still going strong. So Mark Dean coming into the pits, right as I was about to say, coming through the final corner, he's not.
Yep, that pit entry there is extremely difficult, especially that really tight left-hander. Walls on both sides, one little mistake can completely destroy your race. Fortunately, they won't have to be pitting in this race.
No, it's a real positive, I think, that no pit stops tonight. There'll be 2 sprint races, 20 minutes for the first one, 25 minutes for the second one. And points count for both races as well, I'm fairly sure. So want to make sure that you actually finish both races.
Yep. Contrast, it looks like race 1 at Oran Park is not going to be awarded points, but it will set the grid for race 2. However, that's for 3 weeks in the future. Jay and Reese, present Jay and Reese are dealing with this race in which points are given for both races.
Yep. So we've got under 90 seconds left, so this will be the last lap. We've got Tim Ballinger on screen, currently P22. His best lap is a 25.6. A 10th will get him a spot. 3 tenths will get him about 6 spots. So we'll keep our eye on the 600.
Yeah, we certainly will. And I think Warren Pickering's going to have a last-ditch effort. No, he's not. He's run off track at the exit of 1. So I think we shall indeed stay with Ballinger.
There's a few guys on flying laps, but they're fairly settled in their positions in the top 10, top 15. The guys just outside the top
Ooh.
15, I think is where it's at.
Ballinger really aggressive over that first curb.
Yeah, actually unsettled the car,
no.
and around he goes. He's still really unsettled coming out of that 3-turn section, and he won't have enough time to start another lap, I don't believe.
Yeah, well, that's qualifying over for the number 600. Looks like Josh Muggleton's been fairly safe for this whole session.
He's about to start another flying lap just as the clock almost hit 0. Got Justin Rougier on screen. Man, he'll be trying to close that gap half a second at the moment between first and second, but only 2 drivers into the 1:23s.
Yeah, well, the further up the field you get, the harder it is to gain smaller amounts of time. So Justin Rougier taking a lot of curb once again, but he looked a bit more collected than Ballinger did over that particular curb.
It was a controlled bounce over the curbs as opposed to a wild fling over the curves. He's run too wide there though. So that's done for him.
Healy's sitting in the pits. Marsh, Dowell, Hyde, Stewart's out at the moment. I don't know if he's
on
finished
a
the lap.
No, he's on a flying lap at the moment, so we'll stay with him. Just coming down the hill into the most enjoyable part of the circuit, past the hotel.
Side note, when did Scott Larnack go up to 9th? Very good job from him.
Just then, I think.
Yeah,
I've missed that one.
He's coming into the pits now, so he did it about a lap ago.
Greg Stewart currently P7. 10th will get him a spot. 2 tenths will get him 2 spots. His current best lap is a 1:24.6.
Calm and controlled through the last sector of the circuit.
I feel like this might be a little bit slow looking at that section there, but I'm not sure.
Taking a middle of the road entry over the curb.
Might be okay.
Yeah, I think so. Going to cross the line, and it's going to
24-3.
be...
Is it?
It looks like it didn't count.
Didn't count. Unlucky.
Oh, no.
Would have been a 24-3, I'm pretty sure, which would have put him up to 5th.
He's going to be spewing.
But I think that's qualifying done. Rougier, no, you won't get a lap done. So that's pretty much our grid set. It will depend on the other splits of qualifying, but 27 cars in this split. So I think we'll only have one split of racing tonight, which should be thoroughly enjoyable, which we'll have coverage of that very, very soon. But we'll run through the results for this session as it is now. Muggleton from Rougier, then Healy, Marsh, Dow, Hyde, Stewart, Giacomin, Larnack and Boving, the top 10 separated by 1.2 seconds.
In 11th is going to be Forzen El Nabi, followed by Stuart Hall. Mark Dean lining up 13th, with Bo Albert and Warwick Brown completing the top 15. Thomas Hins in 16th. Series admins George Johnson in 17th place. 18th is Steve Jansen and Warren Pickering in 19th. And the top 20 is going to be rounded out by All-Star Motorsports' Jared Tyerman.
You got Andrew Stokes, Tim Ballinger, David Coleman, David Kidman, Tim Foltz, Wayne Pengilly, and Colin Burns rounding out the 27 cars that did laps here in qualifying. We might take a very short break, and when we come back we'll have coverage of race 1 for tonight, which will be 20 minutes. We'll be back very soon.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Welcome back, one and all, to V8's Online's live broadcast of Round 3 of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, sponsored by Sim Racing Bay. Round 3 at Barber Motorsports Park is about to go off. Race 1, 20 minutes. And you just saw the qualifying session, and we're looking forward to some really good sprint racing, times 2 tonight. Of course, with this 20-minute race, race 1, and a 25-minute race 2. My name is Reese Gardner. Once again, joining me in the commentary box and directing is Jay Kennedy. Jay, the weather in the race server is a damn sight cooler than it was before.
Yeah, it's a complete polar opposite from what we had. Thank you, Reese. It's very, very overcast. It's very dark and gloomy, which some drivers will absolutely love and other guys will absolutely hate, because they would have set up their car completely different for the last session. So it could mix up the field quite a lot. But yeah, very, very overcast and quite cool track conditions. The wind has settled as well. So not sure how much it will affect the racing, but can't wait to find out. It's only 25 minutes of racing, so it should be great.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking like some times in the low 23s up the front is going to be the order of the day, and if my very rough calculations are correct, the race should work out to about 15 laps. So it's a very short race here at Barber today for race 1. And yeah, as we've been saying, a nice cool track, no UV hitting the surface. It's super grippy. And of course, the drivers are going to have to basically recalibrate the way they drive these things, because, yeah, with hot weather, you're faced with a bit more slipperiness than you are in a cold session.
Yeah, I think that might actually help. We might see some guys make some big brave moves because the track will be a bit more grippy. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But big implications for these guys if they do make mistakes in this race. We've got about 33 odd cars in this race tonight, so a nice field. and it'll be highly competitive at the moment. Just seeing some interesting action down the front straight between Bo Albert and Michael Healy. Albert trying to get out of the way as Healy moved to the inside, and they both collected each other, so that's a little bit unexpected for both.
Yeah, certainly. That's not really something that you want to see, but it is an easy sort of thing to have happen with a long straight following a corner like that. It is easy to just sort of continue turning a little and go towards the inside, but then the guy who's trying to pass you might want to do that as well.
For sure. Seeing the times start to come in, this guys, I think everyone's done quicker times that has actually done a proper lap than what they did in qualifying. So I'm really looking forward to this race, and actually looking at the times as well. The field is closer than it was in qualifying in the warm-up session right now.
Yeah, that's the thing I've noticed. Like, in my personal experience, I seem to get faster relative to other people in colder sessions. Like everyone does quicker times, obviously, but this extra grip instills a bit of confidence in you and allows you to attack just that little bit more. Maybe get a little bit closer to the people in front of you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the race turns out with cold weather like this.
Not far away, we're about 100 seconds off the start of this race. As soon as the checker flag comes out for the warm-up, we'll bring you the official starting grid, and we'll get ready to get underway for this sprint race, race 1 of the night. And as soon as we finish this one, the field will reset. We'll head off, come back again, and we'll have race 2. And I'm really looking forward to this format. Be interesting to see if someone makes a huge mistake early on in this race and then has to claw their way back through, not only in this race but in the next race as well.
Yeah, certainly. Remember, the starting grid for race 2 will be determined by the finishing places of race 1. Race 1 is for championship points, but race 2 is the one that will really sort of define your season if you get it right or wrong, because if you end up not finishing in this round, you will be put down to split 2 for Oran Park in 3 weeks' time. So these rounds are inextricably linked as we drivers continuing to test the limits of this circuit in these colder conditions.
Interesting that Ben Dowell is currently the fastest driver on track, then Josh Muggleton in P2, Justin Rougier in 3rd. But Rougier back to Muggleton around about the same gap that we saw earlier in qualifying, but Ben Dowell quicker than Muggleton by just over 15 thousandths of a second. But very close the whole way through the field.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like the top 10 is covered by just over a second at the moment. Well, that's 10 minutes past in warm-up, and we'll be getting ready to go to the starting grid very, very soon.
Checkered flag now out, so a couple of seconds and the drivers will leave the track.
And we are officially in the race session, Jay.
Yeah, so starting grid is now up on screen. Josh Muggleton P1, Rougier P2, Michael Healy 3rd, then Darren Marsh in 4th, Ben Dowell in 5th, Jason Hyde in 6th position, then Greg Stewart, Luca Giacomin, Scott Larnack and Jay Boving rounding out the top 10.
And in 11th, Forzan El Nabi will be starting with Stuart Hall, Mark Dean, Bo Albert, Warwick Brown, Corey Ott, that's a guy that we didn't see in Split 1 qualifying, starting in 16th. Thomas Hins lining up in 17th place with George Johnson 18th. 19th, Steve Jansen. Warren Pickering rounding out your top 20.
Yeah, Jared Tyman 21st, and Andrew Stokes, Tim Ballinger, David Coleman, Alex Greenwood, David Kindman, Tim Fultz, Jonathan Turner, Ben Seidel and Wayne Pengilly rounding out the 30th car. Then we've got Colin Bruns, Cody Bircher, Tom Hardine and Fonty in as admin. We won't worry about him.
He's in here with in the broadcast booth with us. Probably put a word in that you guys on the broadcast won't be able to hear, but we're going green, green, green now. And Josh Muggleton getting a very nice start. Look at Michael Healy, though, trying to go up the inside of Rougier. He slots in behind as they go into turn 1, and we got a spinner. Who is that? That is, clicking back through the cars, that is Forzan El Nabi. So he's already lost positions, going 3 wide in turn 2.
He's dropped back to 27th, so it's going to be a big struggle for him to get back towards the pointy end. Oh, he's on the grass again.
That right there, that's very easy to do in that turn. They come down to the hairpin. Oh, I'm seeing smoke in front of him. Jonathan Turner smashes into Forzan El Nabi. We've got cars off everywhere. That's Tommy Harradine there making a mistake as well. Oh man, that's
oh,
really
big crash!
Start we want to
big
see.
crash!
Oh, no. Yeah,
it's a
Jason
Marsh.
Hyde.
Marsh Hyde and
is that Albert? Oh, Darren Marsh
313.
The ERT car. The 313 is Luca Giacomin, and so that is the caution flag out.
Safety car.
So that is going to give us an opportunity to see what happened. Forzan El Nabi manually disconnecting from the server in frustration, so that is not the start that he would want to have had. Wow, there was an awful lot happening on that first lap.
Yeah, that was a really bizarre one. I think Marsh has potentially picked up a bit of steering damage and he was unable to straighten it back up coming down the hill. I'm not too sure, but it was a very, very strange incident.
It certainly was. Well, I'm going to go back and check out Forzan El Nabi's point of view. All of this. Oh wow, so it looks to me as though Jonathan Turner saw what was happening in front of him with Steve Jansen hitting the brakes and catching out Andrew Stokes a little bit. Stokes locked up the brakes, slamming on them, and of course that created a little bit of a concertina effect. David Kinman there, part of Middle Finger Racing, reacted, and then in response, looked like Turner just made the turn to avoid him, lost control, and went straight into the side of Forzan El Nabi.
Oh wow. On board, you just see a car come from nowhere and slam into the side of him.
Wow.
While we're watching these replays, just be aware that you're not missing anything because it is currently under caution, under yellow flag. But yeah, just see incident there, but we'll go back live. Muggleton leading from Justin Rougier.
Yep, I'm just reviewing the incident that Darren Marsh had. Let's have a look and see what happened here.
I think he just missed his entry and just cut the corner, and that's race done for a few guys.
Yeah, managed to just avoid taking out Michael Healy, but of course he involved 3 other cars in that incident.
Yeah, his teammate Greg Stewart got cleaned up pretty good. Marsh now in the pits, Stewart in the pits, Jacobin in. He's already been in the pits, and I would dare say that Jason Hyde, no, he's continued on. But lights are out on the pace car, so we're not far away from going green again.
Yeah, certainly aren't. Muggleton hitting up the grid once again. It's like Ruggier's left quite a gap to Muggleton here at the start of this caution lap.
Be some interesting tactics that these boys will be playing in this one.
Have a look at Rougier there, warming up his tyres and brakes a little. Of course, it does count for something in these colder conditions, especially with the current tyre model. Previous versions, cold tyres were definitely faster, but a little bit of heat in the tyres doesn't go astray in the current version of the simulation.
And especially with such a short race, when we get going again, we're only going to have probably 11 laps of green flag running when we go green. So it won't take long before, maybe even 10. So it won't take long before this race will be all said and done. So making sure you got the right heat in the tyres when we go green, it's going to play key.
They certainly will. Well, they're coming up to the final 5 or so turns. Final section of the circuit that just goes absolutely crazy with the elevation change.
Yeah, the elevation of this circuit is absolutely amazing. It's very, very hard to comprehend just watching, even watching TV broadcasts. As we're ready to go.
And Muggo's already away. Reacted well to the safety car pulling off.
Green flag flies, so we are officially back underway. Muggleton leads Rougier and Healy.
A much cleaner start this time. I mean, it really goes without saying. But noticing Ben Dowell with a little bit of damage on the front. Jason Hyde as well, coming up behind Scott Larnack. Oh, looks like behind them, Jay Boving and Bo Albert getting a bit feisty already.
Yeah, good to see. We want to see that. It'll be about a 12-lap race. Won't take long before this one's all said and done. But Hyde, Boving, Albert's definitely the battle to watch at the moment. Hyde, ultra aggressive through the first right-hander.
Jackerman and Marsh are running side by side. Meanwhile, these guys that were running up the front, but now having to make their way back through the field after their crash that brought out the caution. Like Jackerman goes by Marsh.
Oh, there's a car spun there. That's
oh, yeah,
32 of Jared Tyman. He's off.
Ooh, yeah.
And he's back to last position, which is 32nd. 32 cars still left in this race, but it's Muggleton from Rougier, then Healy, Dowell and Larnack up the front. And on screen at the moment is Jackerman trying to make his way back through the field with Darren Marsh right behind him.
Oh, Corey Ott, I just saw, had a major slide out of the last turn. Fortunately, he's managed to recover it, but yeah, it's not quite what you want to see happen. You do want to push hard in these sprint races, but not too hard.
We've got Greg Stewart coming down the pit lane. Not sure as to why. Try and see if we can find that information out. But back up the front, this is the battle for second and third. Michael Healy right on the tail of Justin Rougier.
Airfield's spread out a little bit more than usual, but still have a look at how much Healy's gaining under brakes there. Rougier, meanwhile, getting that throttle input down nicely, gaining a little on Healy. Smashing over those curbs.
While this is happening, Muggleton out to a 1.5 second gap already. Just blitzing away.
Who can stop this man, please?
He's been dominant in both this series and also in the EMR Super Cup that accompanies the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series.
Like Healy versus Rougier has calmed down. Or has it? Looks like in this twistier part of the circuit, looks like Healy's, with his more aggressive entries, is just staying in touch with Rougier, but it looks like he's fallen back a little, falling into the clutches of Ben Dowell. Oh, Dowell, meanwhile, locking up those brakes right up to the apex of turn 4.
Yeah, Ben Dowell's got some great pace. He was faster than Healy last time by about 1/10 of a second. But Muggleton, fastest guy out on track. He's done a 22 and then a 23.1. Ultra quick.
Yeah, certainly. Looking back
Darren
down
Marsh.
through the field.
So I was going to say Darren Marsh and Lucha Jackman have both made their way up to 24th and 25th position now.
Noticing a bit of a battle pack forming in the lower reaches of the field. Looks like Tim Foltz is heading up the train in his John Player Special livery. He's got Steve Jansen behind him. Following them, Andrew Stokes and Alex Greenwood. David Kinman behind them. just creeping up a little.
Just behind that too, Wayne Pengali's holding up Jackerman and Marsh. Jackerman gets through, but Marsh may not be able to.
Oh, who knows? He's
He might actually dive.
Yeah, you can do that here. But you can also hold a line around the outside so that you have the inside for the last turn. And it looks like Pingeli's done that. Darren Marsh, however, has the superior traction and exits the turn in front.
Go back to Wayne Johnson. Oh, sorry. George Johnson and David Coleman. Tim Fuchs, side by side. All of these guys coming into the hairpin. This is a real cluster of cars here.
Yeah, certainly is. And the cool thing about this hairpin is you can do that. It's not the kind of hairpin that sort of only allows 1 or 2 cars through at a time. You can easily go 3 wide through that turn. Oh, diving out from behind Andrew Stokes, Alex Greenwood.
Coleman completely missed the first part of that chicane, and he may have a slowdown penalty. It looks like he's lifted off a little. He's let that gap go ahead to Jansen, but he's got Stokes right on his tail, and right behind is Greenwood and Kidman. They are right there too.
Greenwood's just having looks coming up to the braking zone at just about every corner on this lap. Excellent stuff from these guys.
Back up the front, it's still exactly the same, so we'll stay with this battle. It spreads from 17th through to 22nd. Fuchs, Jansen, Coleman, Stokes, Greenwood and Kinman. Got 8 minutes left in this race, so about 5 laps of racing remaining, maybe 6.
Yes, this race has just flown by. I know we've been saying that since the start of the season, but this time there's a very legitimate reason for it.
It's a very quick race, add in the safety car, and there's not much left of it, so this has turned a sprint race into an out-and-out absolute sprint. We've got a battle for 11th starting to heat up too. Warren Pickering, Corey Ott, Mark Dean and Thomas Hins.
Oh yeah, look at these guys. Fantastic to see these guys going at it. Pickering getting the rear end flared out a little on the exit of the chicane.
Pickering a little bit slower last time by than all of the other cars in this pack. Oh,
so easy to go off there. Oh, Pickering ran wide in that left-hander. Didn't quite get the entry he wanted. Look at Ott, though, all over the curbs behind him. And right there you can see the multiple lines approach. Everyone took a slightly different line through there, but they've all managed to come out relatively the same.
Yeah, no real difference in speed between those guys.
Just Pickering, big slide in turn 1. Just locked the rears a little, it seemed.
Every time I go to have a sneaky look at another battle, you drag me back to it, Reese. I love it. We'll stay with it now for a little.
Well, I don't quite know what you're looking at, Jay, so...
On board with Pickering at the moment, though, coming through the hairpin.
Oh, look at these cars nose to tail down this back stretch. Let's see if any of them make a mistake into the chicane. Pickering just working the wheel really hard to the downhill. Looks like they've all managed to stay pretty even. Just ticked over 5 minutes remaining.
Ott looks like he's in a great position to potentially make a move very soon. He might even do it coming into the final complex of corners. And Pickering's made a mistake. He's run wide. Oh,
so tempting to throw it up the inside there.
There he goes.
Like, Pickering cutting off his nose a little bit, but that is legitimate. As we've been saying, multiple lines are possible through that last sequence of corners. They're all pretty valid. But yeah, it looks like Pickering's downfall is just that downhill left-hander coming off the back straight. He isn't able to hook up the apex like the guys behind him, and turn 1 as well.
He looks pretty solid through this section here, coming up through 2, 3, 4. But yeah, turn 1 is probably one of his weakest points. So I think that was why Ott was looking to try and potentially make a move into that final corner. Not able to do it though, and won't be long before Tim Ballinger's on the back of this pack as well.
Yeah, certainly. Like Thomas Hins has got a great back seat to all of this. Gains on Mark Dean slightly into the braking zone.
It's heating up for P3 as well. Muggleton's pulled out 2.6 seconds, but Healy has Ben Dow right on his tail, separated by around about 0.2 of a second.
Well, yeah. Look at how hard both of these guys are driving. Sliding the cars everywhere. Look at how much Dow's recovering in the braking zone. Dean's just able to optimize that last turn a little bit better on that lap.
Yeah, our race timing saying it's a final lap. It's definitely not. We've still got 4 minutes to go in this race, so still ironing out some kinks in the estimation of laps.
Tell you what, the battle
We'll
for
get
17th is really heating up now. Tim Foltz has got a huge train of cars behind him now.
Yeah, so Jansen, Stokes, Greenwood, Kinman,
Oh,
Jacobin,
look at
and
Jansen.
Marsh.
Just running wide.
Yeah,
Gonna
Stokes
sort
will
of
come
leave the
through
door
here.
open for Stokes a little. Nah, wouldn't do it.
We were
Going
really
too
careful through
wide.
there too. Being the following car coming up that little rise, you have to lift off, and now he's vulnerable for Greenwood coming through.
Going a little too hard into the corners. I think he's getting tempted by Foltz, who's being a bit cautious in the braking zones. Yeah, Foltz is sort of sacrificing corner entry speed to get that exit, and it looks like Jansen's sort of falling for that ploy a little bit. Have a look at all the cars behind them, though.
9-car
Jacobin
battle.
and Marsh, yeah. I wonder if Jacobin and Marsh will be able to get by any of these guys before the final lap. Looks like David Kinman is facing pressure from Jacobin. Oh, look at this. Jacobin runs wide. Marsh is going to go up the inside at the second last turn. Can Kinman hold it? Jacobin goes through, but Kinman isn't going to let Marsh through easy. They're going to go side by side into turn one. Marsh yields. Possibly
gets through.
fight another day. Oh, if Marsh doesn't fire it up the inside at turn two, which he does.
Does, yep.
I think Kinman saw that coming. Just went a little wide to not make it too difficult for him. Oh, well, as I say that, they go side by side through turn three. Don't mind me. Kinman's going to try and come back at Marsh here. Look at this.
He's going to do it
Lots of
too.
smoke in front of him. Great racing here up at the back.
Have a look at this battle now, 6th, 7th, 8th. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I should say. Scott Larnack, Jason Hyde, Jay Boving, Bo Albert. Hyde and Boving, there is absolutely nothing between them. We've got 2 laps of racing left. Minute 41 left on the clock, so not sure why our on-screen time is saying last lap. Definitely not. -1 laps to go now, that's good. I love it that it's working properly.
Kinman and Marsh still going side by side meanwhile. Looks like Marsh went a bit slowly through the fast chicane. He was side Kinman, and of course 2 can't go into 1 through there, so he had to yield and lost a bit of distance to him.
Healy and Dow's started to heat up again as well, down to 0.3 of a second once again.
Yep. So this is going to be Josh Muggleton's final lap right now, as he's about the halfway point of the lap.
Possibly could be one more, still 52 seconds left on the clock, so it might be one more.
Oh yeah, true. I'm not looking at the right timer. Apologies for that.
I do that all the time.
Huh.
There's battles everywhere that have just come out of nothing.
Yeah, look at this. Jansen and Stokes going side by side now. Looks like Stokes has been able to get one up the inside of Jansen, and behind them you got Luca Jacobin flashing his
Flashing
lights,
the lights.
saying, "Please
Let me through,
let
boys."
me through." Yeah.
Play friendly, let me through. And
Yeah.
Marsh has finally been able to get past Kinman, but he's got a second, nearly 1.5 seconds to make up to get to the next car, which is Greenwood.
Of course, got to remember, like, Jackerman and Marsh may have qualified up near the front, but these guys do not have any obligation to let them through. They have a right to race them just as hard as anyone else. So,
is now officially the last lap of the race. White flag is now out.
Oh, Folt's really slowing up in the second last turn there. He locks the brakes, and that's going to let Steve Jansen through on the inside of the last turn. Foltz yields to him. Blowing up Stokes a little bit, who lets Jackerman go. Doesn't really let him go, but didn't really have much of a choice. They're going to try and go side by side through one. Oi, oi, oi. Have a look at Marsh in the background trying to get by Greenwood, who's also trying to get by Stokes. This is ridiculous.
It's going to get really messy really quickly here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Oh, Tim Foltz.
Oh, big lock up.
Oh, careful. That's going to let Jackerman through.
And Stokes should get through as well.
Oh, not if Tim Foltz has anything to say about it.
We'll go to Josh Muggleton. Sorry, Reece. We'll go to Josh Muggleton because he's about to cross the start-finish line to pick up the win in this race. Absolutely flawless victory.
Yep.
So pick up the win. Justin Rougier will finish in P2. Still
But
on
Michael
for
Healy's
that last spot on the podium, and Healy's going to hold out Dow.
Larnack's going to come home in 5th as drivers finish behind him. Looks like Corey Ott was not able to get by Warren Pickering. That battle for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th is going to stay the same. Meanwhile, let's have a look at all the way back in 17th and 18th. Or Luca Giacomin may not be able to get by Steve Jansen. Looks like Jansen's going to hold him off for 17th.
Drag race to the line, you won't quite be able to do it.
Fantastic racing from those guys. Tim Foltz is going to just hold off Andrew Stokes for position number 20.
So Darren Marsh made his way back up to 24th, I'm fairly sure.
Ah.
Yeah, we'll find out in a second. The official results will come through in just a sec.
Obviously not the result that he would have wanted given his qualifying performance, but he'll have another opportunity in race 2 to make good on it.
The results are now official, with Muggleton picking up the win from Justin Rougier, then Michael Healy, Ben Dowell, Scott Larnack, Jason Hyde, Jay Boving, Bo Albert, Stuart Hall and Warwick Brown, your top 10 for race 1.
Warren Pickering is going to come home in 11th with Corey Ott in P12. Mark Dean in 13th, 14th Thomas Hins, followed by Tim Bellinger, George Johnson, Steve Jansen, Luca Giacomin, Tim Foltz and Andrew Stokes rounding out the top 20.
Then we got Alex Greenwood in 21st, David Kidman in 22nd, David Coleman and Darren Marsh, unfortunate, he'll start next race from P24. Wayne Pengilly, Jared Tyman, Ben Seidel, Greg Stewart, another one that had a very unfortunate race. He'll start from 28th in the next one. Then Colin Bruns, Jonathan Turner, Cody Bircher, Tommy Harradine and Forzen El Nabi, who left the race very, very early on.
Well, that is your finishing order for race 1 and your starting order for race 2. Really looking forward to that one. It's only 5 minutes longer than this race was, but I don't think the racing will be any less exciting for it. We're going to take a very quick break. Once again, you're watching the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay on V8's Online. We'll be back very soon.
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. And I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is gonna be so fun. And it's gonna be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder what's it going to feel like. It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by you're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Welcome back, one and all, to V8's Online's live broadcast of Round 3 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. Once again, we're racing at Barber Motorsports Park tonight, a two-race format. Race 2 is just in its warm-up session at the moment. We'll be getting ready to race in the next 6 minutes or so. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Jay, it's time to go racing for the final time tonight. And wow, after race 1, I'm really looking forward to this one. Looks a little bit warmer in this session as well.
Yeah, thanks, Reese. Yeah, really looking forward to this one. It is a bit warmer. The track is a lot warmer. It was only 28 degrees in the last one, 38 degrees in this one. Wind's picked up once again, but the sun's starting to set. And looking like it should be a fantastic race once again. It's half as good as the last race. We're going to be in for another absolute cracker. Cannot wait for this one.
Yeah, we're seeing drivers already testing out their racing chops as Josh Muggleton fires his way past Darren Marsh into the chicane in the warm-up session, taking a little bit of grass along with his curb for afternoon tea. Nothing like a bit of grass to the side.
Almost need a mad cow racing car in there if we're going to be eating grass on the track. Need a cow in there to chomp it up. That was a terrible pun, wasn't it?
Well, who else is going to provide the milk for the Indy 500?
Very true. You got me out of that one. Thank you, Reese. Well, Muggleton, big loop into the fence.
Hopefully he doesn't do that in the race.
Would be very unfortunate for him if he does, as Rougier goes to the top. Actually interesting looking at the times, not all that much slower than what they were in the last session, so maybe this weather isn't making too much of an impact as we thought.
Yeah, let's have a look at the wind. Oh, it looks like we've got another fair wind south at 17 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, not quite as strong as we had in qualifying, but definitely a bit more than what we had in the last race, so should be interesting with only 3 minutes left in this warm-up session, so guys will be wanting to make sure they've got their setups tweaked, understanding the way that this wind and the sun will affect this track with the different weather conditions in this one, but it's going to be hard to beat Josh Muggleton after his form in that race just before.
Yeah, certainly Josh Muggleton being like the dominant force for the whole season of Carrera Cup Australia so far, and yeah, I did ask the question in race 1, can anyone stop him? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see as we're coming into the final minutes of this warm-up session, and as Reese consults Google Earth to see how the circuit is oriented relative to north-south. This is something that I've never quite understood, Jay. When it says it's a southerly wind, does that mean it's coming from the south or going south?
From the south.
Why don't they just say the direction the wind's going in? That annoys me. That irrationally annoys me.
That would then confuse people that have known it for years to be the other way around, so that's probably why they don't change that.
It's probably like with metric and imperial.
Why some things are still the other way around, even though they've been the wrong way for years and years and years, like PSI.
Yeah, suppose so. Could never get my head around that. But either way, it's looking like a slight crosswind across the entire circuit, but you might get a tiny bit of a tailwind in the middle of turn 1.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Because once you exit turn 1, you're traveling directly north. Or if you're using wind terminology, you're traveling southerly. Goodness me. That annoys me.
Why are things how they are with Reese? Maybe that's a topic that we can write on for our potential new show that we might do one day.
True. Well,
take notes.
We'll put that in the notebook and keep that for a later date.
Oh boy. If that's our point of topics, I don't think the show will go too good.
People don't watch things for content nowadays. They watch it for the personalities.
Oh geez, if I'm involved, then you've got no hope.
Okay, Eeyore.
Muggleton has actually made his way back to the top of the timesheet. Justin Rougier, that gap between Muggleton and Rougier now, under a tenth. So Rougier, as he's starting to get more comfortable with this car, is closing that gap back to Muggleton. So we might see this race actually pick up a little bit more. This weather conditions possibly will help Rougier a bit more than what it has for qualifying and race one. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about that jump though that you get off the starting grid. These cars, they're relatively easy to start, but a tiny mistake can, of course, make or break your run into turn one, and the run into turn one is very short here. So there's multiple factors at play here as the checkered flag flies in the warm-up session. Oh, Muggleton, just avoiding the inside of a parked car in the middle of the last sector. But now we are gridding and we're getting ready to go racing in race 2 of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia here at Barber Motorsports Park, of course, presented by series sponsor Sim Racing Bay. If you're looking for some sim equipment, be sure to check them out.
Yep, for sure. Big thanks to those guys. Josh Muggleton will lead this race. He is starting on pole. Rougier second, Healy third, Dow fourth, Larnack fifth, Hyde 6. We won't run through them all because it's the exact same positions that they finished the last race.
Yeah, if you want to know the starting grid, just rewind a few minutes.
We'll get them up on the screen. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this race pans out. Actually, it's a rolling start for this one as well, I've just noticed. Pace car is sitting on the track. I'm not sure if that's a deliberate or an accidental ploy, but either way, it will definitely mix things up. We've got 30 cars in this race. 25-minute race. So we're going to have about 18 laps, will be my guess.
Alrighty.
There's a
I think
curveball.
that's... Yeah, definitely. I think that's a reasonable calculation to come to. But, yeah, I'm quite surprised to see the old Roof RT12R there at the start, at the head of the grid, sorry.
The imitation and the real deal.
Yeah, certainly. As the old workhorse leads the show ponies through turn one.
It's a 25-minute race this time around, as opposed to the 20-minute race we had for race one. So as I said, it'll be approximately 18 laps, depending on what happens in regards to safety cars and the like, which there is a high potential for one. We'll see how we go.
Muggleton's trying to be a pace car himself. Look at him.
Controlling
in the middle
field.
of the road there. I want to be a pace car when I grow up.
Well, we've got a bit of a lull before we go green. A big congratulations to Jackson Evans, who races in this series, picked up wins in the Real Deal Carrera Cup Australia this weekend at Hidden Valley. So big congratulations to him. Great job.
Yeah, certainly big congratulations to him. Gonna have to... There's a bit of a tight squeeze in the formation lap through that chicane, isn't it?
Surprised that they all made it through there as clean as they did. Actually, a few guys that look like they're going to start this race from pit lane. I see Thomas Hinds in the pit lane. I see Jonathan Turner also in the pit lane. So that's interesting. Not sure if that's deliberate or accidental. We'll make things tough for this race. And the ones that we need to watch... Jackerman and Marsh, who are starting a long way down the field from where we should expect them to be. They qualified inside the top 10.
And they're going to have to be right on the ball for when Muggo leads the field away, because they'll want to start making moves as soon as possible. But they're coming into the second last turn now. The pace car's going to peel off into the pits. Now the race is under control of Josh Muggleton. He decides when to go.
It'll be early.
It's going to be... Wow, yeah. Starting at the apex of the last turn, and away he goes. Got a good gap already. The field's going to fan out behind him and then go nice and tight to turn one. Look at Scott Larnack up the inside there. Ben Dowell, who comes back at him through turn two.
Got a car stopped. The 49er Stuart Hall stopped at the exit of turn one.
Oh, Jason Hyde just made a little bit of quarter contact with Scott Larnack. He's been slowed up, so he's going to lose a couple of positions. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, you can see that on screen just behind Bo Albert.
Yeah, going side by side with Warwick Brown there is Hyde. Now as they come into the chicane, this is where some big incidents might happen. Oh, look at Larnack vaulting over that curb, taking a bit too much. Looks like they're going relatively easy so far. Oh, have a look at Alex Greenwood though, firing it up the inside of David Kinmond. And also Greg Stewart going up the inside of, who is that? Tyman.
Jared Tyman, yeah. So Greenwood and Kinman we saw battling with Stokes all of that last race.
Wayne Pendley, he's going to try and make it 3 wide. Oh, no. He goes right across the grass into Jared Tyman and sends him around. Got a great big run out of that chicane, and I think he might have misjudged his braking a little bit. That's unfortunate.
Try and get a replay of that one, because we just missed it. Oh, yeah, just completely missed it. Tried to go to the grass to avoid everything, and then also checking up to try and redress the position. And he's actually held up a few people. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry. I just noticed Corey Ott was at a standstill on the start-finish straight. He spun out of the last turn. He's got some fairly heavy front damage now, so Corey Ott not having a good race either.
Something's happened to Rougier. He's back to 7th.
Oh no, what happened to him? Oh, that's another thing we've missed. Quick rewind. Looks like
Get a replay up on screen.
Turn 4. He lost it under brakes. Just locked up the rears a little bit and went off into the gravel trap. So, man, that sucks for him.
Does indeed.
So that's promoted Michael Healy to 2nd.
Yeah, he's dropped Rougier back to 7th. This is the replay of the Rougier incident now. He's trying to make sure. Oh, geez, lucky to keep it off the fence. That was a good bit of driving to not hit the fence on the outside wall there.
Certainly was. Looking back a little bit at Warren Pickering, currently in position 10. Luca Giacomin is monstering the back of him right now.
Great drive from Giacomin.
Oh yeah, and Pickering goes off. Looks like he's got a little bit of left front damage on his car. Not sure where he got that. Seeing more really intense racing towards the back. Looks like Tim Ballinger and George Johnson getting involved in that with Tim Foltz just behind them. Steve Jansen and Darren Marsh too. Oh, got a car spinning. That's Alex Greenwood at the last turn. Oh no, and he's taken out Greg Stewart with him. Greg Stewart across the circuit, blocked it, and that's heavy contact. Stewart on his roof. That deserves a replay. For sure.
I'll try and get a replay of that up.
Oh, wow.
See if we can see exactly what's going on. Not sure if we're going to be able to.
Yeah.
I think we might. Yep.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right,
I was on replay.
We've got to replay this though. Lamonitis, as we see Greenwood looping it around. Stewart nowhere to go, and that's and then as he's come back on, that's painful. And he's had a few rollovers. Yeah,
so really not a good night for Greg Stewart. He's in the pits. Don't know if he'll continue on at all. Officially goes a lap down.
So looking like this race will be about 18 laps at this stage. With Josh Muggleton leading the way. He's got about a 2-second gap back to Michael Healy in 2nd. But the real battle, I think, is the battle for 6th and 7th. Sorry, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. Rougier's made his way back up to 5th ahead of Albert. And Jay Boving, Giacomin already up to 8th.
Yeah,
that's a great drive.
That's incredible. Yeah, fantastic stuff from Giacomin to come up to 8th from 18th on the grid. And the way he's driving at the moment, it looks like he's going to be making a couple more moves before the race ends as he flashes his lights. He really likes doing that, it seems.
Just see George Johnson running a little bit wide at the hairpin. Bo Albert's got a really good run here on Rougier.
Can't quite do it though into the last sector. Have a look at Boving behind him though.
He's ready to pounce and take advantage. I think you can smell blood with Albert ahead. could potentially make a mistake if he doesn't get this move done on Rougier correctly. Might leave the door open for Boving. Jackerman's there as well, and Larnack's dropped a little, and he has Rougier right behind him now.
Yeah, this is really, really intense at the moment. Thinking through the field, I don't know if I saw someone out of position. Darren Marsh still stuck behind Steve Jansen.
He's made his way up to 14th, and Jansen actually made a big mistake under brakes and almost went off the track. Marsh should be able to make his way through here and get up to P13, so he's done a good job to make his way back towards the pointy end.
Once again, it's the whole traction issue. It's really hard to make up positions under throttle here, but yeah, Larnack
Rougier is definitely the one to watch.
Yeah, look at Rougier going over those curbs. I'm surprised he didn't get a slowdown from that. It's amazing how much you can use the curbs at this circuit.
It's great to see Justin Rougier back in the sim again. Been away for a long, long time. Made his return now with the introduction of the Porsche Carrera Cup car.
Oh, look at this. Uses the throttle to try and fire it up the inside of the last turn, but he doesn't quite have the mid-corner grip. Larnack has the wider line. He's able to maintain that position. Jackerman back there flashing his lights.
Good to see that button's been programmed correctly. He knows which one it is. It is fun flashing the lights at someone else, so I do enjoy doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Usually his guys have lapped me though, but...
Yeah, generally I only do it when I'm lapping someone or saying thank you, not when I'm trying to actually pass someone for position. But we'll leave that. Jackerman is the guy in the cockpit. I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Bo Albert, the fastest out of this pack, last lap by. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because Jackerman's actually the fastest out of this pack, last lap by.
Well, I think he has more than a right to be flashing his lights.
Last lap 24.0, 24.2 for Boving, 24.0 for Albert, 24.4 for Rougier, and 24.5 for Larnack. And Jason Hyde is closing as well. He's a little bit off the pack at the moment, but he'll close up very quickly with him doing a 24.1 last lap by as well.
Exciting stuff. Have a look at Albert versus Boving. Meanwhile, Boving is the filling in an Evolution Racing Team sandwich at the moment. Albert in front, Jackerman behind.
On board with Jackerman, view up ahead. Moves out of the draft, that's a bit of a surprise. Just making sure that... Oh, he's got a few internet issues right on cue as well.
Yeah.
Just making sure that Boving knows he's right there. He doesn't have to flash his lights to show he's there. He just move all around the track. But Larnack and Rougier, that is really close now.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, but the ERT cars, always Rougier has a look up the inside, but Larnack covers him. The ERT cars don't really have to flash their lights. They're bright bloody yellow. You can see them easy in your mirrors.
In the overcast conditions we had before, you could say it was a little bit too dark, but not anymore. It's very, very bright.
Quite easy to pick out those cars, but yeah, wow, this is a proper train now.
Just seeing Darren Marsh and Steve Jansen side by side.
I've just realised, Jay, the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th is ERT Rougier, ERT Boving, ERT. It's an ERT Big Mac. And I'm met with silence.
I don't know where to go with that.
I just thought it was a fun observation.
Trust us to start talking about fast food while we're broadcasting. I love it.
Oh, it's getting to dinner time for me, mate.
Hello to Richard Hampstead if you're watching. Warren Pickering spun. Warren Pickering has spun, and I just see damage to the front of Mark Dean's car as well. So we'll try and pick up a replay.
Another car off. That's Boving. Boving. Oh no.
We're going to replay both incidents if we can.
Yeah. I'm just having a look at Boving's one while we've got the replay of the other incident up on screen. Looks like Boving just caught the grass on the exit curve of the last turn.
So Pickering in the Redback Racing red and black car. You got behind in the Porsche, the Castrol Porsche, is Mark Dean. I'm not sure if there was actually an incident between the two or not. I just saw there was damage to the front of that car. Yeah, a little bit of damage as he's tried to go around him.
Like Warwick Brown was involved a bit in that too.
Yeah. Was a complete self-spin, but just unlucky for Pickering. Then unlucky for Dean to get a little bit of damage there. But this is the one with Boving. A little bit too aggressive on that inside curve, and he's done a great job to not hit the wall on the inside.
Yeah.
He's dropped back to 9th.
Yeah, certainly not where he'd want to be after fighting as hard as he was in one of those top positions, but still, he's going, and that's what matters. Meanwhile, Larnack and Rougier, if we're going back live, is really heating up at the moment. Oh, Larnack!
Oh, big.
Larnack getting unsettled on the exit of the last turn. That's going to leave the door open for Rougier coming into turn 1. He's going to come up the inside. It's not...
Oh, we've got a car spinning in the background.
But Rougier through. Oh, and Larnack's going to try and come back on him. They're going to go too wide here through turn 2. Larnack squeezing Rougier to the inside, leaving a bit less than a car width, but they both managed to make it through. Through the kink they go. Larnack getting unsettled again over the kink. They're just going to leave enough space for each other in the braking zone for the hairpin. Larnack's going to try and hold off Rougier, but Rougier's going to come through on the inside. It's the over-under. Have a look at this. Fantastic
This is fantastic.
Racing.
In the
Side by
background,
side.
in the background, we saw Jason Hyde, who just closed onto the back of Jackman, I should say.
Rougier not on the outside of the chicane. Oh,
he's going to do it.
Wow.
This is
Incredible
great.
Stuff. Larnack's going to come back at him again. They're still going side by side. Oh, maybe a little bit of side by side contact. Not quite. They're not going to go side by side through here, are they? Larnack yields to Rougier. Oh my God, what a half a lap.
Jason Hyde has had the worst half a lap at the same time. We saw in the background, you could see a little bit of a spin. I mentioned earlier to keep an eye on him, but he ended up making his way right to the tail. Jackman looped it around at the final corner and actually has looped it again. And we've also got an incident for Jay Boving as well. So we'll stay with this replay until we see what's happened to Boving, but he's disappeared. He is out of the race.
He's gone.
Rougier, Larnack, Albert, Jackman has settled while we're watching this replay.
Oh, I'm out of breath after that battle between Rougier and Larnack.
That was a fantastic little battle and a fantastic pass. So Jackman's done a great job. He started in 18th in this race. He's made his way up to 7th. And Darren Marsh started 24th. He's now up to P8.
Yeah, very good stuff from both of those guys.
Easier to pass, obviously, at the start of the race as opposed to weaving your way through the field during the race.
Yeah.
This is Boving now. Shouldn't be far away from seeing the incident that he was involved in, whatever it may have been. I'm not too sure. Well, it looks like it may have just been an internet issue and he's just disappeared, and that was a real anticlimax.
Yeah, that's a real shame for him, as we
He was
see
doing a great
Warwick
job.
Brown. Yeah, he was. Warwick Brown, though, letting Darren Marsh through.
Yeah, Brown
Is,
unfortunately a lap down.
Yep. But it's a pretty big gap from Marsh to Jackman, who is now pressuring his teammate Albert, the last part of the circuit.
Yeah, 7.5 seconds Marsh behind Jackman, so I can't see that happening too quickly. But
And Warren Pickering is officially out as well.
yeah, unfortunate for him. Now, of course, these guys that are DNFing as well, they're back to the second split next time we race, which is going to make life very, very difficult. Just seeing a pass made, David Kinman over Thomas Hinz, so Hinsey back to 16th.
Oh, got a car stopped on the exit of the last turn. That's Warwick Brown. He's been involved in another incident, unfortunately. It's a fairly big one as well. Looked like he just got into a slide out of the last turn and had a tank slapper into the wall, smashed the front end in.
Stuart Hall up the inside of Tim Fultz in the hairpin, and it looks like he'll get moved done. Tim's going to hold him around the outside. These guys are going to go side by side here.
Ooh.
Nah, Stuart pulls out. Good move.
Yep. Tim Fultz up from 19th to 12th, taking advantage of those incidents up ahead.
Jackman's still right on the back of Bo Albert. He is ready to pounce. Got 9 minutes left in this race, around about 7 laps, which will absolutely fly by.
Certainly will around a circuit as frenetic as this. I've just noticed, though, Andrew Stokes up from 20th to 10th. Steve Jansen in the top 10 now.
Yeah,
He's
P9
running
for him,
ninth.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
Just staying out of
fantastic.
trouble.
Yeah.
Corey Ott still has Kinman and Hins behind, and Pengelly has Tim Ballinger right on his tail. Looks like Ballinger might think about making a move into turn 1.
Oh, he's too far back.
Geez, he thought about it right until the last second.
Yeah.
He's put the
Have
right
a look
amount
at
of
that.
pressure on.
Yeah, looks
And moved
like,
up.
yeah, Penduley. It's, Penduley might come back.
Oh.
It's so tempting to send one up the inside at this track. There's so many zones here where you can just stamp on the throttle, get yourself up the inside of someone in time for the next turn in a sequence. Often it can go sour.
There's so many different lines. I think that's the thing. You see someone taking a different line to what you're used to, and you think that that's an opportunity for you to stick a nose in there. And some guys can actually make it work, as we saw Rougier doing it around the outside at the chicane. But other guys get in there and we see incidents happen. But actually it's been fairly clean for the most part, these 2 races tonight.
Yeah, certainly has. I've been very impressed with the quality of the racing. I thought at a track that has so many slow turns and elevation changes and braking zones that there'd be more carnage, but no, these guys have put on a fantastic clean show.
A battle that's slowly starting to heat up is a battle for 2nd and 3rd. It was out to well and truly over a second, about 1.5 seconds. And now Dowell is like right there, right on his tail.
Yeah, certainly is. Seeing in the broadcast chat, Jason Hyde says he got DQ'd from the race, so that's
unfortunate.
probably an incident limit issue there.
Rougier has pulled 2 seconds on Larnack already. Albert still has Jackerman right on his tail. Stokes has Johnson starting to close up. Fultz still
Fantastic
has
little
Stuart Hall
battles.
and Corey Ott getting involved as well. And Thomas Hins has managed to get ahead of David Kidman, but now has Tim Ballinger starting to close on to his tail now too.
Yeah, this is fantastic racing all throughout the field here, and we're sort of seeing a repeat of race 1 here. There's a bit of a train starting to form behind Fultz. Quite entertaining to watch. Oh, Fultz misses up the exit of the chicane a little bit. That's probably going to let Stuart Hall have a little bit of a look around the outside. It can be done, but you got to have some real
Testicular
confidence
fortitude is what you
there.
need.
Yes, that is good. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, have a look here at Hall though.
Oh,
Trying to throw
He
it
might be able to do it
around
around the outside.
Oh yeah, you can do it. You just gotta want to be able to straight line that last section of the turn and get that run. But
Here
looks
comes Ott.
like
And
yeah,
Hins.
have a look at this.
Oh, Hins thought about making a move.
Ooh. Ott getting a bit unsettled.
Ott's starting to
Locking
make a
his
few
brakes.
mistakes. He's locked the brakes at a few corners now. I'll tell you what, Thomas Hins has done a great job. He started in the pit lane. He's made his way up into the top 15.
Shows that it's a viable strategy. Have a look at Hall on Fultz though. Really closing up on him in the braking zone. Have a look at
Hins on Ott. Going to get it done.
Wow, fantastic stuff. Mashes on the throttle, but Ott might have the inside for the chicane. No, Hins moves right across to let him know, no, I'm not letting you through on the
This
inside,
is
mate.
mine. This is my spot. I'm taking it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So now it's a matter of Tim Fultz and Stuart Hall. How that battle's going to pan out. Oh, have a look at Hall. He's just able to get the line through the corner a little bit better than Fultz does. He's got a tiny bit more mid-corner grip. Look at the way he closes up here. Really tight line from Fultz. Oh dear. Oh, Fultz on the exit of the last turn. Once again, have a look at the train behind him now. We're starting to get more guys involved in this.
Half the field's in this battle now. We've got 4 minutes left in this race, 4.5 minutes left in this race. So around about 4 laps left, which will absolutely fly by watching these guys. Oh, this looks messy. This is going to be messy.
Yeah.
We're going to go 3 wide here.
Oh, Hin's on the outside of
Hin's-
Hall.
Oh, Hall. And Hall's made a big mistake.
Yeah.
He tried to
Some
lunge. Oh,
Good
no.
situational awareness by Hins, though, to just
off the brake a
roll out
little.
of the steering a little bit
Yep.
to let him go.
And Fultz is starting to lock a wheel
Oh,
quite
yeah, here we go.
regularly. So Hall now has a great run.
Nah, he just isn't able to. The thing with that turn is, if you have an
Oh,
outside
Hins.
line,
Oh, Hin's nearly through the nose. I'm glad he pulled out of that.
Now Hall's off track. But if you have
And
the
Ott's there
outside
too.
line at the exit of the chicane, you can get a better exit. In the final minute or so of this race, just about.
This has been highly entertaining.
Yeah,
I've loved it.
Yeah, this is really enjoyable.
Battle for second and third, still around about that 0.8 of a second gap we saw before. Albert and Jackerman still the half a second to 0.6 that we saw before. This battle is where it's at. This is for the last few spots inside the top 15.
This is really exciting. There's 6 cars involved in this train now. So it's Fultz, Hall, Hins, Ott, Kinman, and Ballinger all involved in this. As they come down to the hairpin, is anyone going to try and make a move?
Fultz, big mistake.
Oh, there we go. Fultz wide massively. Oh,
And here comes Hins. He might get 2 on 1.
Yeah, it's going to let Hins and Hall through. Ott's having a look
thinking
at
about
Fultz, firing one up the inside. Did Fultz lift there?
Yeah, I think he did. I don't think he wanted to go too wide into that chicane, so he's got out of it and let Ott through. So it's P12 now for Hall, 13 for Hins, 14th for Ott, 15th for Fultz, and Kinman now the next in the queue. But this battle may settle a little, I think.
Yeah, just might. How much time we got left?
2 minutes left on the clock, 2:04. So will be 2 laps to go. Muggleton coming down into the chicane. So this will be his second last lap, for sure.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, it looks like the battle has settled down a bit. A little bit of a gap. Stuart Hall's pulling out of Thomas Hins.
We've got Greg Stewart trying to make his way back through the field. He is a lap down, but that was quite a brave move. He just pulled on Wayne Pingelli.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of trust needed to make a move like that so late, especially when you're a lap down. You sometimes, guys don't expect you to make moves like that when you're a lap down, but very, very good move. He's made his way, he's up to 25th. Unfortunately, involved in a couple of incidents earlier on. This race has definitely settled down. Healy now 1.1 seconds back to Dow. Larnack is 5 seconds behind Rougier. So that gap's absolutely blown out. Albert and Jackerman has definitely settled. Hins and Ott is probably still the best battle that is going to potentially happen, as these guys have 1 lap left in this race.
Yeah, they do indeed. Well, we've seen some really entertaining racing in this race, short and sweet, but quite big trains. And wow, looks like the closest at the moment is Fultz versus Kinman.
Yeah, we'll go to Josh Muggleton though, because he's coming through the last section of the track with only 20 seconds left on the clock. So this will be the final time he will traverse this section of the track. But once again, a dominant drive from Josh Muggleton. He's out to a 7.5 second lead. He has been absolutely flawless in this series so far. Will anyone be able to stop him? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a question that may not have an answer as Muggleton exits the final turn, flashes his lights in celebration, and crosses the line to take his 4th win in a row in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia.
Michael Healy will cross the line in 2nd position, and Ben Dow will come across in 3rd. Unlucky for Justin Rougier, making that mistake at the hairpin early in the race. He dropped back to 7th. He fought his way back very, very hard into 4th position.
The form finish for Evolution Racing team here for
3-car form
6th and
finish.
7th. Yeah, fantastic stuff from those guys.
Looking at the lap times, Rougier had the pace to match it with Muggleton at the end of that race. So it would have been interesting to see how it would have played out at the end if that incident did not occur. Thomas Hinz, great drive from him, started 30th in the pit lane. He's made his way up to 13th, so well done for Hinsey. Done a great job.
He certainly has. Ott seems to have made his way past Faults on that last lap. Oh yeah, he has too. The Le Mans-itis once again. That was quite some time ago.
Yeah, it was.
And
that's
a
right.
really
Ballinger.
close finish. Super close finish there.
Ballinger,
for all
Pengelly
those guys.
and Coleman all crossed the line pretty much side by side, but I don't know how many cars there are left to finish. I think it might be
like,
Ben Seidel, just the last one.
Yep.
That's officially the
Crosses
race
line.
done.
Yep. Wow. That was really fun.
It's 2 fun races we've had tonight. It's been great. But Josh Muggleton picking up the win over Michael Healy. Ben Dow third. As we said, Justin Rougier unlucky with his result. Does finish 4th. He had the pace to be right up there with Muggleton, but making that incident, that issue with his locking brakes at the hairpin on the 3rd lap, dropped him back. Scott Larnack in 5th. Bo Albert 6th. Luca Jackerman in 7th. The 3 ERT cars all cross the line together. We've got Darren Marsh in 8th. Steve Jansen in 9th, and George Johnson finishes inside the top 10.
Andrew Stokes coming up from 20th to 11th, with Stuart Hall falling back a little from 9th to 12th. Thomas Hinz, starting from pit lane, finished 13th. Mega job from him. Corey Ott coming home in 14th. Tim Foltz will round out the top 15. David Kinmond, Tim Ballinger, and Wayne Pengelly crossing the line very closely, with David Coleman just behind in 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Alex Greenwood.
Our last page of drivers, we've got Jared Tyman in 21st, Mark Dean in 22nd, who picked up damage from that incident with Warwick Brown. Got Ben Seidel in 23rd, then lap down drivers Colin Bruns, Greg Stewart, Jonathan Turner, then Jay Boving, Jason Hyde, who we heard was DQ'd, Warwick Brown and Warwick Pickering, rounding out the 30-car field we had for that race.
Well, that was quite the event, Jay. I really enjoyed that.
Sure was. It was thoroughly enjoyable. We'll have some drivers hopefully come in for a chat very soon, but I absolutely love this track. It always produces nice, close, tight racing. I think the fact that it is a very, very tough track to pass on makes the racing so much more entertaining. It's so hard to pass that guys often will make big moves to try and get the pass done, and we see a lot of mistakes as well, which always makes the racing nice and entertaining. But yeah, I thoroughly love this place.
Yeah, fantastic track, fantastic race, and the winner of both the races joins us in the commentary box now. Hello, Josh Muggleton. Congratulations, a double win here at Barber Motorsports Park, and looked like you were having fun out there.
Hello, boys. How are we? Yeah, good fun. Well, it's always fun when you're winning. So, yeah, great night. 2 poles, 2 wins. Yeah, keep the roll going.
Mate, you just look unstoppable out there at the moment between this series and Scops. Is there a secret to your successful ways?
Not in particular. I think this car just really suits my driving style, and something about it clicks with me. So, yeah, it's obviously a good fun car, and it rewards the little 1%ers that you get right, but it also punishes those little 1%ers that you get wrong. So it's something that you have to really drive on the edge, and that sort of fits well with me, and obviously the results are going my way. So yeah, very happy.
Well, we've got Oran Park coming up in 3 weeks' time, with a couple of rounds of V8 Scops in between, Muggo, and we're going to the first Australian track of the season. There's my Le Mans-itis again, Jay, showing. I should probably get that checked out by a doctor. But yeah, Oran Park, Muggo, very tight, very twisty. Not as much elevation change as Barber, but it's a hell of a lot more bumpy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's something this car really doesn't like. So there'll be a few setup changes this week to try and get something that's nice and smooth and flows really well. Obviously, we can't change the shocks in this car, but there's a little few things that we can change, which should make it pretty nice. But yeah, obviously, real world permitting, planning to be there and keep the roll going, keep the streak going for Harrop and HRS and Momo and Fuel Autotech, all our sponsors at TTR.
I was just about to say, did you want to thank anyone before you headed off, but you beat me to it. So congratulations, mate. We'll no doubt talk to you again soon. All the best.
Yep. Thank you very much. Cheers, boys.
Josh Muggleton there, your race winner. Next person we'll talk to will be Justin Rugia. Justin, you came home very well in race 1, but you experienced some problems in race 2. Still, a 4th place finish. You'll be happy with that.
Yeah, g'day guys. Yeah, really struggling with the brakes, with the brake feel in this car, and had nothing to lose. Obviously, trying to catch Josh because he's so quick. So yeah, just tried to brake a bit later, but yeah, just the lock-up light just keeps coming on. I just got to work something out to try and get better at it.
It's great to see you back out on track, mate. We're going to see a bit more of you.
Yeah, hopefully, obviously you guys know I love the Porsche, so every Sunday I'm going to try and put that aside, but I'm racing at Phillip Island next weekend, so won't be around then, but yeah, I'll try and back it up the next couple of weeks. Well done to Muggo too.
Fantastic stuff, Justin, and of course we've got a bit longer of a wait than usual, 3 weeks this time to round 4 at Oran Park, and I suppose you'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Get some practice in. Now that I know Muggo and a lot of other great drivers are around, but that was a pretty cool battle with Scott just before. I'd love to watch the replay of that. I don't know if you guys caught that or not.
Yeah, we caught a lot of that. That was a good move to actually get the move done there. You're very, very brave going in too wide around the outside.
Yeah, my face was very red. I was very annoyed. I wanted to catch the front two in front of him, but they just got away too much after battling so much. But no, pretty cool.
Fantastic stuff, Justin. Well, I guess congratulations once again on your good finishes, and we'll see you at Oran Park.
Cheers, guys.
Justin Rugia there, beating in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia and finishing very well despite some problems in race 2. Next person we're going to talk to is Thomas Hinz, who joins us in the commentary box now. Hinsey, you started from the pits in race 2 and it worked out very well for you.
Yeah, well, second time in this series I think it is that I started from the pit lane. This time, thanks to Anti-Cheat, just randomly decided, you know what, after race 1, I'm not going to let you load into the game. You can go and have a walk, son. I was like, alright, well, thanks for that. So I had to do a restart, and by the time I got myself sorted and back in, I just missed the start, so I had to just start from the pit lane again. So yeah, because of that, was probably when I was being a little bit aggressive, maybe a little more than I normally am. Although in sprint races, I tend to sort of up the aggression a little bit because obviously sprint races. But yeah, I really wanted to make some moves. So yeah, as I was saying to the others at the end of the race, it was kind of a good thing in a way. I think that I did DC, or didn't get into the start, because I ended up having some great fun with overtaking and battles that I don't think I would have had I started normally. So I'm sort of, it's a bit of both. But yeah, no, that second race was manic. We had some amazing battling back there, but no major contacts. We all managed to keep it clean despite how manic it was. And yeah, I was really happy to get a 13th out of that, considering, you know, starting from the back, it was good. Yeah, race 1, 14th, sort of stuck behind that battle pack for much of it. Didn't quite have the pace to make a move on mark, but I was sort of getting close in the end, but just didn't quite have enough time. So yeah, but 13th, 14th, nice consistent results. You know, I'll take them. All good points. Fingers crossed, iRacing doesn't kick me over next time.
Brilliant stuff, Thomas. Well, Oran Park is the next round of the championship, and going back to Australia for round 4. So yeah, you'll be looking forward to that. I've heard some comments from Muggo though that the car doesn't really like the bumpy surface.
Well, I was just thinking, because it's kind of convenient, because when EMR was there, actually, that was the time I first did EMR, and I just decided to do it, and randomly qualified, I think, 3rd or 4th or something, you know, kind of 3rd in that race, just sort of blogged together a setup from the usual one I have. I have a sort of base that I just use that works for me. I don't know, I just kind of made it off the default ages ago, and I just tweak it for every race, and so I had it for Oran, did some tweaks, and it seemed really quick, so yeah, I'm pretty keen for that then, because if EMR is an indication, pace should be pretty decent. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'll be hoping probably for some good results there. But obviously, you know these Porsches work, Reese. You know, you never really can guarantee anything. So I'll just do what I usually do tonight, do my best, and and go from there.
Brilliant stuff, Thomas. Well, I guess congratulations on your very consistent good results this round, and we'll see you in about 3 weeks' time at Oran Park.
Thank you very much, Reese. Yeah, see you guys then.
Thomas Hins there, coming home 13th and 14th in round 3. And the final person we're going to talk to tonight is David Kinmond. David started 22 in race 2 and finished in 16th place, and you got involved in quite some interesting fights throughout.
Yeah, mate, that was an absolutely fantastic introduction to Split 1. Had some awesome battles with people. The racing was very, very clean for the most part. I just felt terrible that on the last lap there I tapped Darren Marsh when everyone checked up, and I dived to the inside to avoid him, but didn't quite fully make it. So
that was a thoroughly entertaining race. You're pretty pumped up about how that all went?
Yeah, mate, very, very excited. I've done a lot of R Factor 2 racing over the years, but iRacing I'm only really starting to dabble in some of the non-official races now, and thoroughly enjoying it. The Aussie community here is fantastic.
We agree.
And
we certainly do.
Seeing as this is my first time being interviewed, thank you to Sim Racing Bay. Figured I'd best do that shout out. I actually have an OSW wheel myself, and if anyone's thinking about taking the leap, I can't recommend them highly enough.
Fantastic stuff, David. We'll be expecting you back for Oran Park, I suppose.
Yeah, mate, I'll definitely be there.
Awesome. Did you want to thank any sponsors before you head off, mate?
I suppose I better thank my team boss's company, Wayne Pengelly's WP Concreting. He puts the cars on the track for me.
Fantastic stuff. Well, good stuff from you tonight, David, and hopefully we'll see you again in Split 1 at Oran Park.
Thank you very much, guys. See you then.
Brilliant. Well, Jay, after all of that, wow. I don't really know what else to say. It was a super entertaining event, and I'm just really looking forward to the next round. If this is any indication, Oran Park's going to go off.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait for that track. It's going to be hugely fun. But tonight's been some awesome racing. There may not have been a huge amount of passing, but I tell you what, the action that we saw, the close, tight battles, and the struggles that guys actually had trying to make those moves done, when they were done, they were just so much more entertaining and more enjoyable. So thoroughly enjoyed tonight, and bring on next week, or next round, I should say.
Yeah, next week, of course, is V8 Scops. We can't forget about that. But, future broadcasts on V8's Online, if you're still hanging around. On Monday, we're broadcasting official iRacing V8 Supercar online series. Of course, iRacing Live has picked that up as well. Thank you very much to them for giving the series that amazing exposure. And on Tuesday, Jay, we'll be broadcasting the first round of the new Midweek Sports Car Championship. 3-hour races using the previous week's IMSA official track.
Yeah, really looking forward to this series. It's a really, really cool concept. You register a team as opposed to registering drivers, and you just make sure that someone turns up and drives for your car every week. So if you have a couple of cars entered and a few drivers that want to drive, you can alternate and swap and change, and it's the car that actually gets the points as opposed to the driver. So a really cool concept. 3-hour races, so should see some really, really cool entertaining racing throughout those 3 hours, and I'm really looking forward to bringing the action on Tuesday night. Should be good fun.
Yeah, certainly. And, of course, we can't forget on Thursdays now we've got our IMSA official series broadcast. So 8:45 Australian Eastern Time, Thursday evenings. The Australian community gets together and has a big race, and we broadcast it. And the last round was certainly something to behold at Suzuka. We'll be going to Watkins Glen for a 75-minute race this Thursday. Be sure to turn up for that. Give it a watch. Maybe have a race if you like. And, of course, on Sunday, we're going to be broadcasting the V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series. Can't quite remember where the track is.
Yeah, same place. So we've got a big week at Watkins this week. So Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday next week we'll be at Watkins for all of our broadcasts in the next little bit. So tomorrow night we'll be off to Mosport, then Suzuka, and then we head to New York to Watkins Glen for our next 4 broadcasts, which is pretty cool to actually have everything all together.
It's a Watkins Glenathon at V8's Online next weekend. Really looking forward to that. Well, Jay, thanks very much for joining me
My pleasure, mate.
And for directing. Obviously, it's not easy to have a broadcast without someone to stream and direct. So, thank you very much, man.
I enjoy talking rubbish with you, mate. It's good fun. We're good at it.
We are, and we have fun doing it. But
Exactly.
thank you very much to Sim Racing Bay as well for their sponsorship of the series. Of course, as David Kinman said, be sure to check them out for sim racing components like the Open Sim Wheel. They do very good deals on that sort of stuff, so be sure to check them out. You've been watching on V8's Online, Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Round 3 at Barber Motorsports Park. Your round winner was Josh Muggleton, and he is going to go into next round with his head held very high. We'll catch you later this week on V8's Online. The best race here. Catch you next time.